Caitlyn Clark's popularity is tied to her whiteness. Look at this. Tamika Townsell, PhD, is a professor who covers black representation. You're blatantly putting that this is about race.
Every single one of you WNBA players, you better pray that Caitlyn Clark doesn't get injured, because she's keeping your league afloat.
We saw what happened last year. Caitlyn Clark was targeted.
Forbes exposed themselves as the biggest joke in sports media, because according to them, it's not Caitlyn Clark driving the WNBA's success. No. It's Angel Reese and A'ja Wilson who are building the league.
The whole article is skewed and biased because it's the young white woman against these black athletes.
Seriously, let me be very clear. Without Caitlyn Clark, the WNBA would still be fighting for TV time behind bowling tournaments and cornhole championships.
WNBA's attendance had a record-breaking high in 20 years with a total of 2.3 million fans attending games. You know what the increase was from 2024 to 2023 in attendance? 48%. That's massive. That's the Caitlyn Clark effect.
Phenomenon, yeah.
If Caitlyn Clark gets injured, it's over with. Tom.
Angel Reese. She's a TikTok influencer who happens to play basketball.
But no one's tuning in to watch Angel Reese. It's just not happening. She's not Michael Jordan. She's not Magic Johnson. She's not Larry Bird. She's someone that taunted Caitlyn Clark. Those are the facts.
A'ja Wilson? She's more famous for crying about white privilege than she is for growing the game.
Jealousy and envy and delusion all mixed together. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're delusional. People are watching these games because of Caitlyn Clark.
And Forbes, well, they just exposed themselves as nothing more than a race-baiting, agenda-pushing media outlet.
They decided to throw A'ja Wilson into this absurd article from Forbes talking about how A'ja Wilson and Angel Reese are leading the WNBA growth.
Today, I'm going to prove every single word of that using the facts they refuse to show you. Because this isn't about race. This isn't about social media followers. This is about reality. And reality says one thing loud and clear: Caitlyn Clark is the reason the WNBA exists in the mainstream conversation today.
A'ja Wilson's been in the league how long? She didn't even shake the needle. She didn't even slightly vibrate the needle.
So buckle up, because we're about to destroy the Forbes narrative piece by piece. And yes, if you're a true Caitlyn Clark fan, I want you to prove it right now. Type Caitlyn GOAT in the comments below. Let's see how many real fans we've got watching this video. But that's not all, and we've got exclusive Caitlyn Clark fan gear linked. Buy it, wear it, and support Caitlyn like a true champion. And here's the fun part. Once you get your gear, wear it proudly, take a picture, and send it to the email displayed on your screen. We'll pick some of your pictures and feature them right here on our channel, because this is not just a video. This is a community of real Caitlyn Clark fans.
It looks like we're going to have a repeat of 2024 when it comes to Caitlyn Clark. The legacy media trying to poo-poo what it is Caitlyn Clark has done for the league. She's the face of the WNBA already. She's the only one that really and truly moves the needle. Nobody would know who Angel Reese was without Caitlyn Clark. Let us understand that.
Let's start with Angel Reese, because Forbes really embarrassed themselves trying to act like she's building the WNBA. I mean, who are we kidding here? Angel Reese isn't growing the WNBA. She's growing her TikTok and Instagram page. The WNBA itself knows this.
Is Clark even that active on her Instagram? I mean, I know it's a priority for like Angel Reese. I get that.
How do we know? Because when the WNBA posted their big highlight video of their players, showing them in uniforms, on the court, being athletes, guess who they left out of that picture? Angel Reese.
All right, there's Caitlyn getting off the bus. Yep, here we go. There she is on the court. She's wearing a uniform. That's right. So all these players are coming off, right? There's Angel again. They put out this video, and Angel Reese fans are madder than a hornet. Everybody's in uniforms but Angel. So this is crazy. Y'all didn't have one picture or video of Angel in her uniform. Reese fans complaining because they didn't see her in uniform, laughing my ass off. How about complain about them waste of time double-doubles that just got you losses and lots of them? Pathetic. They have posted a video of highlights involving last year's WNBA draft, and my God, her fans are livid now. Thanks to the WNBA for confirming what I've been screaming for a year now.
Oh, they showed her all right, but not in uniform, not in action, not playing basketball. Nope, they showed her in outfits, in fashion looks, in street clothes. That's because even the WNBA understands Angel Reese isn't moving the needle on the court. She's moving it on social media.
Becker's $2.2 million and Caitlyn Clark $3.1 million are among the biggest brands in the new era of visibility in women's basketball. There's just one player whose social media following surpasses them both, Angel Reese. Reese's 4.8 million Instagram followers with another 5.5 million on TikTok. Endorsement deals and content creation show that black women, including A'ja Wilson and Candace Parker, are still at the forefront of the WNBA's growth. The statistics do not support your claims.
Her fans were furious. They were attacking the WNBA all over the comments, asking, "Why didn't you show Angel Reese in uniform? Why is she the only one not shown playing basketball?" I'll tell you why. Because Angel Reese has built her entire brand off clout chasing. Fashion deals, podcast appearances, TikTok dances. She's a content creator first, a basketball player second.
A'ja Wilson and Angel Reese are the ones that's really growing the WNBA. Even the WNBA doesn't believe Angel Reese is growing the league on the court.
Oh, and let's not forget, when Angel Reese went on that double-double streak, everyone thought she was dominating. But guess what happened to her team, the Chicago Sky? They started losing. Bad.
Angel, who became the league's all-time leader in consecutive double-doubles, also extended her reach into fashion and podcast. Reese's brand blossomed before her professional career began, despite being selected 6 spots behind Clark. Her fans aren't basketball fans. They're not watching games, they're watching clips on TikTok and X.
Her stats didn't translate to wins. It was empty numbers in garbage games. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark, her presence alone was breaking attendance records, selling out arenas, and getting millions of people to actually watch WNBA games on TV, not just scroll past a TikTok clip.
Caitlyn Clark is undoubtedly part of the reason why the WNBA broke multiple viewership and attendance records during the 2024 season. Caitlyn Clark was first in viewership and attendance and gate revenue. There was no close second.
And here's the biggest truth bomb of them all. Angel Reese is only this famous because of Caitlyn Clark. Let's be honest. Without their NCAA rivalry, nobody outside of hardcore women's college basketball fans even knew who Angel Reese was. Clark elevated her.
Angel Reese is the most unskilled basketball player in the history of basketball, in my opinion. She has no skills. She knows that she's not a very good basketball player. That's why she spends so much time half naked and taking pictures and promoting things that have nothing to do with basketball.
This is Angel Reese, the content creator side. It's pretty clear basketball is her top priority. I cannot imagine how anybody could view this athlete in any other way. It's clear basketball is front and foremost. This is all helping with things like shooting better from the field and missing layups. She has no rhythm, just like she can't make a layup. Practice layups. OnlyFans incoming.
Clark made her a name. And now Forbes wants to flip the script and act like Reese is leading the league? That's laughable. Angel Reese is not growing the WNBA. She's growing her social media following. And there's a massive difference.
Her niche is content creation. It's podcasting. It's TikTok and Instagram and all that, more than basketball.
Now let's talk about A'ja Wilson, the so-called face of the WNBA according to Forbes. Really?
Do you know where A'ja Wilson got her eyes on her last year when she went out there and made those comments about being jealous of Caitlyn Clark's popularity because Caitlyn Clark was white?
A'ja Wilson has been in the league since 2018. That's 6 years in the WNBA. Let me ask you something. Where were all these sold-out arenas before Caitlyn Clark showed up? Where were the record-breaking TV ratings? Where was the global media coverage? Where was ESPN flooding their front page with WNBA highlights? It wasn't happening.
Wilson became a New York Times best-selling author in 2024 with the release of her book, Dear Black Girls, How to Be True to You.
Because A'ja Wilson, for all her talent on the court, simply did not move the needle like Caitlyn Clark has. And this is where things get really embarrassing for Forbes, because they're trying to convince people that A'ja Wilson is building the WNBA based on
what are we really talking about when it comes to moving the needle? Ratings on actual television still crush any bullshit clips or any of that other stuff.
What exactly? Her basketball skills? Her MVP awards? Let's be real. The only reason A'ja Wilson made national headlines was when she started complaining about race.
You played the victim, let all that go down, all that backlash, all that hate, and you didn't say a damn word.
She openly admitted being jealous of Caitlyn Clark's popularity, and she flat out said it was because Clark was white. That's not growing the game, that's playing victim.
And I think in overall popularity, does her race play a factor? Nominal. Women's basketball has had a cornucopia of talented white and black women's basketballers. Elena Delle Donne is white, is she not? Sue Bird, white, is she not? A'ja Wilson's black. Cynthia Cooper, black. Like, you can go back through, and it's actually a lot more. There's gay and there's straight. There's black and there's white. There's tall and there's short.
A'ja Wilson turned the conversation away from basketball and turned it into a race war. And the sad part is, Forbes ate it up. They loved it. They ran with it. Instead of talking about Caitlyn Clark's historic numbers, record-breaking viewership, and game-changing influence, they'd rather push the narrative that black players are being overlooked because of race. But here's the problem. It's not true. The reason Caitlyn Clark is the most popular player in the league isn't because she's white. It's because she's historic. She's a generational shooter, a once-in-a-lifetime talent.
She is highly likable. I think that lends itself to her popularity is she comes across as somebody that's really just respectful, likable. There's other players out there that just don't come across that way.
People aren't watching Clark because of the color of her skin. They're watching because of what she does on the court. Deep logo threes, no-look passes, record-setting assists. She has it. The star power that transcends the game. Meanwhile, A'ja Wilson and the media want to play identity politics because they know they can't compete with Clark's impact in raw numbers. You want to know how desperate Forbes got? They praised A'ja Wilson's book as proof she's growing the league. A book. They talked about her Nike apparel line, her activism, her speeches, everything except her ability to draw massive viewership or sell out arenas. Because the truth is, A'ja Wilson isn't the reason the WNBA is blowing up right now.
But I love my teammates so much that I will take any hit from them. Good, bad, ugly. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to be the best. I get y'all saying best player in the world. That's great. It looks great.
I think it's a huge thing. I think a lot of people say it's not about black and white, but to me, it is. It's really because you can be the top notch at what you do as a black woman, but maybe there's something that people don't want to see. Wilson said to the Associated Press.
One of the more interesting aspects of this fanhood is that some of the biggest supporters of Caitlyn Clark are not whites. They're actually black males.
The timing says it all. Caitlyn Clark enters the league. Boom. Attendance record shattered. Caitlyn Clark gets drafted. Boom! The most watched WNBA draft of all time. Caitlyn Clark plays on ABC. Boom! Highest rated WNBA games in history. A'ja Wilson had 6 years to do that, and she couldn't. You see, this isn't about race. It's about star power. And Caitlyn Clark has it. A'ja Wilson doesn't. And no matter how many race-driven articles Forbes writes or how many victim narratives they push, the numbers never lie.
Beckers and Clark are the kinds of players that force opposing teams to level up their game. Paige Beckers is just thrown in here. Don't know why.
Caitlyn Clark is the reason people are watching the WNBA, period. Now let's get to the part the media hates the most. The truth. Let's leave the fake narratives, race baiting, and social media clout in the garbage where it belongs. Because when it comes to who is actually building the WNBA, the evidence is so overwhelming it's embarrassing that I even have to say it. Caitlyn Clark is the WNBA. Without Caitlyn Clark, the WNBA would still be buried in obscurity, struggling for any kind of national attention. And that's not an opinion, it's a fact. Let's break this down step by step so even Forbes can understand it. First of all, the WNBA didn't just randomly break records this year, it broke records because Caitlyn Clark showed up. We're talking about the most watched WNBA games in history. And guess who played in them? That's right, Caitlyn Clark.
There's so many players who cite you as an inspiration for their games, including Caitlyn Clark, who's just absolutely a phenomenon in college. What's that next step like for her?
You know, next steps, gosh, in this generation, right? You have, I think, just so many more challenges of how to handle yourself as an adult, right? You go through that whirlwind of being a senior in college, transitioning into the W. And then the next step is how to become just an even better leader. And so much of leadership, I think, is listening and learning. And hopefully the more she can get connected to vets in the league and just different people and coaches and anyone that she can glean wisdom from of how to just continue to learn how to be as a connected and inspiring leader as she can be. And a lot of that is walking the walk and not just talking the talk. So she's already on her way, but, continuing to have fun, continuing to anticipate how people are going to try to stop her and being prepared as she can be for next season.
She was part of both games that became the most watched WNBA matchups ever aired on ABC. And these weren't just fluke numbers. People tuned in because they wanted to watch her. Nobody was saying, "Oh, I can't wait to watch Aja Wilson's layups tonight." Nobody was staying home for Angel Reese's rebound stats. It was all about Caitlyn Clark pulling up from the logo, making impossible passes, and changing the energy of the game. Let's talk about ticket sales. Before Caitlyn Clark entered the WNBA, most teams were lucky to fill half their arenas. But this year, Clark led the Indiana Fever to break their all-time single-season home attendance record, 340,715 fans. Let me say that again, 340,715 fans packed arenas just to see Caitlyn Clark play. And do you know what's crazy? The Fever had one of the worst records in the league. That's right, it didn't matter if they were winning or losing, people just wanted to see her in action. That's the very definition of a game changer. Nobody is buying tickets to watch Angel Reese's podcast. Nobody is traveling across the country to watch Aja Wilson talk about race. They're buying tickets to watch greatness, and that greatness is Caitlyn Clark. Let's not forget, the 2024 WNBA draft was the most watched draft in league history. 2.4 million people tuned in to watch Clark get drafted. That's a number the WNBA could have only dreamed of before she showed up. You think those ratings were for Angel Reese? Absolutely not.
She's literally bragging about the unrivaled at the bottom. They drew 180,000 viewers a game, and you're taking victory laps on the unrivaled at the end of this article? All you need to know was what I started with. Black representation. A lot of times Forbes does better than this.
Reese got drafted 6 picks after Clark, and let's be honest, nobody would have cared if Clark wasn't in that draft. Clark made that draft a global event. That's real star power. That's real growth. Not Instagram followers, not TikTok likes, real basketball fans tuning in to watch history. Now, Forbes wants to act like Angel Reese's Reebok deal or Pepsi commercials mean she's growing the WNBA. That's adorable, because Caitlyn Clark's endorsement portfolio absolutely dwarfs anyone else in the league. Clark has deals with Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, Wilson, Xfinity, Bose, Goldman Sachs, and many more household brands. Clark is pulling in global brands, not just niche fashion companies or podcast sponsorships. You know why? Because these companies know what Forbes refuses to admit. Caitlyn Clark is the face of basketball right now. Not just women's basketball, all of basketball. Her reach is beyond the WNBA. She's a superstar in every sense of the word. Now let's crush one more lie Forbes keeps pushing. They love to talk about social media followings like that's what builds a sports league. Wrong. Angel Reese might have 4.8 million Instagram followers and 5.5 million on TikTok, but those fans aren't watching games. They're not buying tickets. They're not contributing to TV ratings. They're there for fashion content, lifestyle posts, and trends, not basketball. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark has fewer followers, but guess what? Her fans watch the games, they show up, they fill arenas, they buy jerseys, they care about basketball, and that's why Clark is infinitely more valuable to the WNBA than any social media influencer pretending to be a hooper. Caitlyn Clark is doing what Aja Wilson and Angel Reese never could. She's uniting basketball fans, not dividing them. She's breaking records, not complaining about race. She's selling out arenas, not chasing TikTok clout.
Caitlyn Clark, Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, Wilson, Hy-Vee, Xfinity, Gamebridge, Lilly, Panani, Bose, Buick, H&R Block, Topps, Shootaway, Goldman Sachs.
She's elevating the WNBA, not just herself. And that's why the Forbes article is nothing but propaganda. They want to push an agenda. I want to push the truth. And the truth is simple. Without Caitlyn Clark, the WNBA wouldn't just be smaller. It might not even matter. And there you have it. Forbes can write all the biased articles they want. They can push their agenda. They can try to rewrite history. They can scream about race, social media followers, and off-the-court branding all day long. But at the end of the day, facts don't lie. Caitlyn Clark didn't just show up to play basketball. She showed up and saved the WNBA. Before her, the league was invisible. After her, it's a global phenomenon. Record-breaking TV ratings, sold-out arenas, historic ticket sales, millions of new fans tuning in not because of TikTok dances, but because of basketball greatness. Angel Reese is famous because of Caitlyn Clark. A'ja Wilson made headlines not with her game, but by playing the race card. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark is letting her game do all the talking, and the world is watching. So let the media be mad. Let Forbes cry about it. Real fans know the truth. The WNBA has one face, one star, one game changer who made this league matter. Her name is Caitlyn Clark, and no fake narrative is going to change that.